My sister's family abandoned my 12-year-old daughter alone in the deep woods. No phone, no food, just a single bottle of water. My sister yelled at me saying, "I'm teaching her how to survive." Then my dad slapped her across the face. What I did next sent her life into a dark, irreversible spiral. Hey Reddit, you'll never forget the sound of your own child's scream, especially when it comes through a phone line. Weak, terrified, echoing across miles of wilderness. My name is Isabella, and this is the day my sister turned a family camping trip into my worst nightmare. It began as a regular Saturday morning. My sister Clara invited my daughter Emily to spend the weekend with her family at their cabin, claiming it would be a fun outdoor experience. No phones, no distractions. Emily was ecstatic. She adored her Aunt Clara, the fun and free-spirited woman with wild ideas. But this time, her idea went too far. I remember waving goodbye as they drove off, Clara smiling from the driver's seat. If only I had known what she planned. Hours later, my phone rang with an unknown number. I answered, and what I heard nearly stopped my heart. "Mom." It was Emily's voice, trembling and distant. "I'm scared." "Emily, sweetheart, what's wrong?" "Where are you?" "Aunt Clara left me in the woods. I don't know where I am. My phone's gone. I found this one on the road." My body went numb. "What?" "She said it's a survival game. She gave me one bottle of water and said she'd come back later. But it's getting dark, Mom." I could hardly breathe. The ground felt like it was tilting beneath me. "Stay where you are," I said, my voice shaking. "I'm coming for you right now." I grabbed my car keys and called my dad on the way. "Dad, it's Emily." Clara left her alone in the forest. "I'm heading there now." He paused for a moment before growling, "What did you just say?" I repeated it, and I swear I could feel the rage in his silence. "I'll meet you there," he said, hanging up. It took me 40 minutes to reach the old forest road. By then, the sun was setting, orange light filtering through the trees. I parked and ran down the trail, calling Emily's name until my throat burned. Then I saw her. She was sitting on the ground near a fallen tree, hugging her knees to her chest, her little face streaked with tears and dirt. When she spotted me, she bolted into my arms, sobbing. "Mom, she left me. I thought I was going to die." I held her tightly, whispering, "You're safe now. I've got you." But that safety turned into fury the moment I saw Clara's car headlights through the trees. She stepped out casually, holding a thermos as if nothing had happened. "Relax, Izzy," she said. "It was just an exercise. I was teaching her how to survive." I stood up, shaking. "You left a 12-year-old alone in the woods." She rolled her eyes. "You baby her too much. Kids today are soft. Emily needs to learn independence." "Independence?" I snapped. She could have been hurt, lost, or worse. Clara shrugged. She was fine. "It's just a forest, not a war zone." Before I could respond, I heard tires crunching on gravel behind us. Dad's truck pulled up fast, headlights piercing through the trees. He got out, his face pale with fury. He didn't say a word, just walked straight toward Clara. "Dad," I started, but it was too late. "You left my granddaughter alone in the woods," he said, his voice trembling. Clara frowned. "Dad, it's not a big deal. She's safe now." The sound of his hand hitting her face echoed through the trees. Clara gasped, clutching her cheek. "You hit me." Dad's voice was cold, sharp as steel. "I should have done it years ago, the day you started believing you were smarter than decency." I had never seen him like that. His hand was still shaking, but his eyes were calm, almost heartbreakingly sad. He turned to me and said, "Take Emily home. I'll handle this." But I didn't leave. I couldn't. Clara started screaming. "You all treat me like I'm crazy." I was just trying to help. I wanted her to be strong. Strong. I shouted. "She's 12. You call this strength? You call this parenting? You almost killed her, Clara." But she wasn't listening. She was unraveling. "You think you're perfect, Izzy? You think your daughter's better because of you? Wait until she grows up. She'll hate you too." Dad stepped forward again, his voice low. "Enough. Go home before I call the police." She glared at him, tears in her eyes. "You'd really call the cops on your own daughter?" He didn't flinch. "You stopped being my daughter the moment you left a child to die." She turned and stormed off to her car. We stood there in silence, watching her drive away, her taillights disappearing among the trees. I held Emily tighter, feeling her heartbeat against my chest. Dad looked at me and whispered, "Don't worry, Izzy. She'll face what she's done. Nobody escapes the truth forever." And he was right, because what happened next, what Clara did after that night, plunged her life into darkness none of us anticipated. 2 weeks later, I received a call from the sheriff. They had found Clara's car abandoned by the same forest road. What they discovered inside shocked our entire family. 2 weeks. That's how long it had been since that night in the woods. 2 weeks since my sister nearly ruined everything. And somehow, I still couldn't sleep through a single night. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw Emily's face, terrified, shaking, calling for me in the dark. I could still hear Clara's words echoing like poison in my mind. I'm teaching her how to survive. Survive. That word used to mean strength. Now it just reminded me of fear. Emily was physically safe but emotionally scarred. She began having nightmares, waking up in tears and clinging to me as if I might disappear too. The therapist called it survival trauma. I called it cruelty. Dad stopped talking about it altogether. He'd sit on the porch in silence every evening, his face hardened and exhausted, staring out at the trees. Sometimes, I'd catch him whispering to himself, "How did I raise one child who saves and another who destroys?" Then one quiet Sunday morning, the phone rang. It was the sheriff. His voice was calm but serious. "Mrs. Clark, we found your sister's car abandoned off Route 17 near the state forest." My heart dropped. "What do you mean abandoned?" "The vehicle's empty, doors unlocked, engine cold. We're running prints now, but you might want to come down." Dad and I drove there in silence, the road winding through tall trees and wet dirt, the air heavy with mist. When we arrived, the flashing lights of police cars cut through the fog like ghosts. Clara's old red SUV sat crooked beside the ditch, one door still open. The sight of it made my stomach twist. A deputy approached us. "We found signs of struggle, broken glass, torn fabric, but no sign of your sister." Dad looked down, jaw clenched. "Did she leave anything?" The deputy nodded and handed me a clear evidence bag. Inside was a single folded note in Clara's handwriting. I opened it carefully. "You were right, Izzy. I went too far. I thought I was making her strong, but I was just trying to fix the weakness I saw in myself. Tell Dad I'm sorry. Tell Emily I never wanted to hurt her." My hands trembled as I lowered the note. Dad turned away, wiping his eyes. They searched for her for 2 days. Drones, dogs, search teams, nothing. It was as if she had vanished into the same forest she once used as a lesson. Eventually, the sheriff declared her presumed missing. But I think we all knew the truth. She wasn't coming back. For months afterward, life felt strange, quiet. We tried to move on, but grief clung to everything. Grief for what was lost and for what had never really been whole. Emily slowly began to heal. Her nightmares lessened, and she started drawing again, pictures of trees, sunlight, and safety. One afternoon, she came to me with a sketchbook and said softly, "Mom, can I draw Aunt Clara too?" I hesitated. "If you want to." She nodded. When she finished, she showed me the picture. A woman standing in the woods, eyes closed, surrounded by small animals. It wasn't dark or scary. It was peaceful. "I think she's happy now," Emily said quietly. I didn't have a heart to argue. Maybe in some strange way she was. The next spring, Dad and I returned to the same forest, not out of anger, but for closure. We placed a small wooden cross near the spot where Emily had been found. On it, Dad carved a single word, "Forgiven." He looked at me and said softly, "I can't hate her anymore, Izzy. I think she hated herself enough for all of us." I nodded, tears burning my eyes. She lost herself trying to prove something, and maybe the forest was the only place that finally told her the truth. We stood there for a while, the wind brushing through the trees like a whisper. The same forest that had once terrified us now somehow felt calm. Before we left, I placed Emily's drawing at the base of the cross, the one where Clara stood peacefully among the trees. That night, as the sky turned golden over our porch, Emily sat beside me and asked, "Mom, do you think Aunt Clara is watching over us?" I smiled softly. "I think she's watching over the girl she hurt and learning from her now." Emily leaned her head on my shoulder. Then I hope she knows I forgive her. I kissed her forehead and whispered, she knows. Because sometimes those who cause the most pain are the ones who never learned how to carry their own. And true forgiveness isn't about letting them back into your life. It's about finally setting yourself free. She left a child in the dark to teach her strength. But in the end, it wasn't survival that saved anyone. It was love, quiet, painful, and real, that brought light back to the forest.